Good evening and welcome. This is Fireside Sounds. You're with me, Marian Shanley West. It's turning out to be a lovely evening already. And listen here, I always like to change it up a little bit. So what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to introduce a little bit about the gigs, and then we're going to go and watch something spectacular. I did an interview last week and I decided, you know what, why not run this the whole show? Okay. The one thing I want to say is, are you mad for it? No, I'm not kidding you. There's a band called Mad Ferret and they're doing a gig on the 20th of July. And you know something? Do you like Oasis? This is the kind of stuff they're going to be playing. I love Oasis, so why not turn up for this? It's going to be a super night, and I have to say, it doesn't cost too much. It's tenner. That's quite decent as well. Do you like the old school style? Arctic Monkeys? Yeah, definitely my kind of thing. Okay, turn out for that, because you know what? It's going to be something you could go to, you can enjoy. It's on the 20th. Where's it at? That's what you want to know, right? The venue live at the Cuckoo's Nest, and that's in Dublin. Check it out. Go on Facebook, Google it. You'll find out a little bit more. Okay, enough about that. Right, last Thursday I went up to Crumlin Gym, and I have to say I had an amazing conversation with somebody who's two-time Olympian boxer. His name is Mr. Phil Sutcliffe, and I just have to say the warmth, the generosity of spirit, and also the kindness that I met when I walked into the gym was something special. And that was even before I met the man himself. Okay, let's see a little bit of the interview that I had on the night, and we're going to go back to that in the second half as well, but here's a little bit of this first. The sense of community here, you were talking about the little ones that start here and they just travel with you through their ages. And
well, as I said to you earlier, we have boys and girls that have been with us since you were 5 years of age, right? And some of them there, as I said tonight, Clive Smith, his father used to be a member of the club, and his father brought us up when he was only 4, and just to run around the bags and play of a Sunday morning. Like, we have a Sunday kiddies class here. My son looks after it. It's his pocket money, right? And like, when he's not working, it gives him a few bob for petrol and that. Yeah. And I gave it to him a long time ago when it saved me giving him a few bob. But some of the kids here they travel right through life. Like, they're married, they've kids themselves, they bring them back, right? And like, it is a community sense, and it's great to see most of them giving something back. It's nice for, like, there's so many people that join clubs and don't give anything back. Yeah. Because it is hard to run a club there's no finances, there's no one getting paid. We're trying to run raffles and we're trying to put on tournaments, and it is very, very hard to keep clubs. And I find it hard, and a lot of clubs, I find it very hard that some clubs barely stay active. Right, with, like, they get subs. If you can get subs off some kids, it's great. You know what I mean? Some kids can't pay, and some because their mother and father's not working. Right, and I remember that from my days, because my mother could buy a bottle of milk and a sliced pan for the subs when we were in, you know. Yeah. And I used to be embarrassed going in of a Monday because I didn't have it. You know what I mean? Until I got a job at the paper round to pay the subs.
So it drove you to be more of a worker as well as
an athlete
as well.
Yes, yeah.
So you think that's very important, that there's that sense of balance for somebody who's going into boxing? Or can somebody commit full time? Do you have many people that say, I only am a boxer?
Well,
how can they survive?
Yeah, well, it's very, very hard. Yeah. Right, there is a lot of kids. There's not much work out there now. No. Right, and we find that there is a lot more people coming down for these fitness classes just to give their energy. Right, like, they can come 3 times a week here for €15. You know what I mean? And they do 2 hours. Some of the classes are 2 hours, some classes are an hour. Right, but it's great for them. You know what I mean? It's great for them, and they love it. They love coming down here. Get rid of some of the energy, punching them bags, and Shani Carton puts them, and Paddy puts them through the paces. Some nights I'm here, put them through the paces.
So that's great for children. Do you think? Would you say for children, so important
for children to basically is to have fun. Yeah. Right. Basically, it's a child wants to have fun. When they're certain ages, they just want to have fun. But while having fun, learning that little bit of discipline, they have to be on that line when they're told. They have to be on that line when they're told. They have to stop when they're told, and it gives them that start off for preschool or for life. Yeah. They like everything. They can't get their own way all the time. They have to do what they're told for certain things, for school, for job, for the mummies and daddies at home, right? They have to clean the room, and they have some sort of discipline.
So if there's anybody watching who's any children with lots of energy that could do with some discipline, you know where to bring them.
Well, and like we're some of our kids are like little soldiers. You know what I mean? Like boxing stance, breathing position, listening position, and down to the floor. When you get a chance, come down and do it with them one day.
Love that.
Just put it on your program, and it'll set a lot of eyes open.
Yeah,
you know,
especially me trying to do that.
Small some of them are, yeah.
Well, they'd probably show me up, but you know what? I think that's a great idea, having kids. So you started 6, essentially 10, then you moved through the ranks, went into seniors, won that, 17, put your name on the map, and then you suddenly arrive at the Olympics.
Well, when I arrived at the Olympics, it was after 79 when I had a bad injury. I broke 5 bones in my hand in the European Championships, my second European Championships.
Which you won?
I won a bronze medal. I beat the former European champion in winning the bronze medal.
Well done.
Right? Yeah. So it was a great achievement. But I broke my hand in the 4th round boxing the Russian, who then went on to win the gold medal, who then went on to win the Olympic gold medal, who then went on to win a world title. So I was very unlucky in most of my draws in my career, right? In my amateur boxing career, I was very important. I never turned pro. I would have likened to, but I was afraid. Like, you had to go away out of your country, and I was going with a girl at the time, and I didn't want to leave the country. But in the boxing sense, right? When I went to the Olympics in 1980, where it was in Moscow, I had a very bad hand, very bad sore hand. I used to leave it in a bucket of ice. Right, we trained at that time. It wasn't like today. We had 2 weeks squad training, right? And I got sacked on my job because I gave it up to go to the Olympics. And there was another controversy on the crystals. One of the crystals, or 2 of the crystals, were supposed to go. I think it was Terry Crystal was supposed to go to the Olympics, but he wanted to train on his own with his own coach, Lord of Mercy's Fred Teeth, and the powers to be at the time wouldn't allow it, so he opted out, right? Which was very sad, because he had a great chance of winning. Terry was very, very good. He had a great chance of winning a medal. He's a doctor now, right? And his brother's the head of the professional boxing in Ireland, who was Mel, who was very good too. Right, and in the heavyweight division, he won a senior title too. But my case scenario was, I went in with a very bad hand, a very sore hand, not making excuses, but I ended up boxing a guy called Daniel Zaragoza, right, a Mexican who was favoured to win the gold medal. Right, Daniel beat me. It was a hard fight, tough fight. I got a few clatters and gave a few clatters, but it was a tough fight. He went on to win his next fight. Right, he beat an Englishman then the next fight, Ray Gilbody, I think it was. Ray Gilbody, George's brother, and he got a cut in his next fight, and he got so many stitches in his eye, and he had to pull out. So he didn't get on to win a medal, but he went on to win a world title as a bantam in the professional ranks, and then he won another world title. He defended it something like 7 times. He was very, very good. Daniel Zaragoza, if anyone's listening, he's a Mexican, and he beat Wayne McCullough in one of his fights when Wayne was going for a world title shot. Right, so, and this was years later, so Wayne was a young man, and Daniel Zaragoza still had the upper hand on Wayne. He was a very, very good professional, but he was a very good amateur too.
So how do you come back from an injury like that? Do you still have to box, or do they say, right, you take time out? Or
I took time out. I was told I'd never box again by Dr. Maura O'Brien. Yeah. She said I had a very bad hand, right, whatever calcium. I did ultrasound for on and off for weeks in James Hospital. This is before the Olympics. I mean, so... And I wanted to go so much to go to the Olympics, so I said I'd go or so, and I might get an easy draw, but I didn't. But I gave up boxing for a year. I took up coaching in Drimna, right? I joined the army in 1981, and I went on a career to be a physical training instructor.
What was that like? Was that a complete different road for you? Did you feel...
It was funny. It was funny. I found a lot of things funny. Like even with the discipline, which I'm talking about discipline, I found the discipline funny in the army, where you have to jump and how high, and and some fellas screaming down your neck to do something, where in the boxing you would do it without the screams because you had respect. But in the army they demand respect. You just do what you're told. Yeah. This, that, these and those. This is the way the TH goes, and you just do it. You know what I mean? And but eventually I got into it, and I became a this, that, these and those myself. I became an NCO, and then I got into the gym. I did the physical training instructor's course, which was fantastic, and I did lots of different courses, mostly sporty. Yeah. Physiotherapy, not a physiotherapist, physiotherapy, massage, fluage, all that type of stuff, weight training, everything to do with sports. I was on the volleyball team. I was on the gymnastics team because I was in the gym, and it was great. It was a great part of my life, you know. And then I was asked to take over the boxing, but I've always looked after the boxing in the Eastern Command, and we've always won overall boxing in the Eastern Command while I was there with a guy called Tony Hutchison, right, who was my CS, was a great guy, right, and his brother Johnny, that looked after me very well in the army.
And they do that every year, is it? That's competition.
Every year it was done. Now it's after stopping now since the sports, because the army is getting, not that it wasn't always serious, but they should be more sporty, I would say. They're not sporty enough, because they have most of the youth in there. They should be very, very sporty.
They might bring you in for a boot camp after this.
Well, they
6
might,
weeks.
Yeah, no, I actually did help them on 2 other occasions, yeah. Brilliant. When they were training for CISM, they used this premises and they used the court, and I went down to get them hand, because some of the guys I trained that were boxing for me are now the coaches. So you pass on your knowledge. Yeah. Like Paul Thompson now is the senior boxing coach there, and he boxed for me when I was in the army, and he came up here. And the guy before that was a guy called Donnelly from Anto Donnelly from, you know, he's a physiotherapist now himself, but he took over my job when I retired, right, and got out of the army, right, and he took over, and then out of Anto Donnelly's job, Paul Thompson had to take it on. But both boys boxed for me, and Paul Thompson boxed, you know, he didn't box for Crumlin, but he boxed over here, right, and Anto Donnelly did box for me over here, you know, so it was. So
you've been helping a lot of people, really. So it's passing it on, like you say.
But knowledge is no good unless you can share it.
Yeah, very important.
Yeah.
But you also shared it with a bit of a celebrity, I hear, as well, in a certain movie. Tell me about that one, the boxer, wasn't it? Daniel Day-Lewis? Well,
I got a phone call one time off Barry McGuigan, who I boxed as well in 1977. It was a very close fight. But Barry, you know, he should have won. Yeah, right? But the thing is, Barry rang me up and asked me would I like a part in the film and the boxer, right? And would I train Daniel here in the gym? So Daniel was here
in Crumlin.
In Crumlin,
oh,
in the gym, in Crumlin gym, yeah. We had to get heaters for Daniel. Right? But Daniel was a very, very good boxer. You know, very, very good. He for film roles, he was exceptional. You know, he was an exceptionally. He ate, slept, and ate boxing for those few months, and he was brilliant. Right? He learned very quick, right? And he's a super athlete. He'd be in that ring for 15 to 20 rounds of pad work. Some of my fighters wouldn't be able to do that. You know, some of my professional fighters wouldn't be able to do that. He was just super fit. He was a really, really fit guy, and a nice guy too. You know, but we did the film. It was boring waiting around for the thing. I wouldn't be mad into film work. Right, but we got well paid for it. Yeah. But the thing is,
we won't turn it down if America rings or anything. Looking for him.
Right. But it was good, and it was interesting. Yeah, it was very interesting.
Yeah. There you go, that's amazing stuff. I have to say, it's one of the few times that I've been totally inspired by somebody, and that's the man to be inspired by. The work that he's doing in Crumlin is just amazing. And you know what, it was reflected in what I saw the evening I went up to have the chat with him. Very exciting times ahead. I predict that Crumlin's going to be one of those hotspots. It's not only for, you know, hardcore boxers, it's actually for people who want to get fit. And they've even run a little campaign at the moment where they're trying to encourage people to look after themselves. Okay guys, we need to go for an ad break, and after this we'll come back to some more.